With Michal's appeal heavy on his conscience and his own culpability in a devastating twist of fate, Maru finds himself questioning his role in the fate of mankind. MINDRAKER. Background Anger. Episode 8. Verdict of Man.
When I was a small child, I went down to the river. I sat there for a long time, watching the creatures dart about and mope, running my hands and feet through the cool water. God sat across from me on the other side of the river. I was about 6 years old at the time, and someone else completely. So was he. It was a lovely day. The sun was gentle and kind, hugging me with a comforting breeze. It was bright out. It took a hand to shade the light from my eyes. But on the other side, he never raised a hand or cast a shadow. That's how I knew his name. The river was deep, and I was struck with an innocent bravery and waded out too far. My foot slipped on the drop-off, and the water swept me away. I cried out, splashing and flailing, the current pushing me down, filling my lungs. And then I felt two powerful hands around me, and suddenly, I was in his arms, safely above the danger below. Without a word, with only a smile, God returned me to my side of the waterline. After watching him walk calmly back to his side, I turned and ran home to the safety of my mother's arms. I lived on that bank for the rest of my lifetime, and when I was old and weak, I attempted to cross the waters with a bundle of kindling on my back. Once again, my foot slipped at the drop-off, and I was swept away. But this time, God was not there to save me, and I perished beneath the unforgiving current.
I haven't watched it. I don't like the season.
That shit was so fucked up. She's flicking her bean and he just comes up.
I couldn't help
gets her
myself.
from behind.
It was on Facebook, but they took it down.
That shit.
Oh my god, I'll send you the link.
That shit was sick.
It'd be sick if I thought it was kind of hot.
Yes.
Viral penetration, visions of the ghost stream. I've heard the voices calling, they know my name, all of the many names. I sit in the coffee shop where we met, the same place I received my mission briefs. One of those targets was her, Michal, African American, age 33, average but attractive, single, never married. And now she is no more save a memory, a faded wisp of subconscious space in the collective sphere, taken in the violent throes of a universe without remorse. A raindrop swallowed by the ocean in spite, the essence that burns no more. Causality, collateral damage, scraps for the pigs of war, a distant echo of longing. Who converts the truth in a world with two meanings, both of them obtuse? What shape is reality? Behind the broken blinds, 2 steps, then none. A bad decision, a bated breath, whole numbers and non-existence intertwined. The pounding skin of the war drums bellow.
Good afternoon, Mr. Maru.
Call me Maru, no mister.
Of course, Maru. On behalf of the agency, let me thank you for agreeing to meeting with me. Sorry I'm late. Hysterical nude man waving a gun in the middle of traffic. Invader driving, no doubt.
Yeah, can we get on with it? I have someplace to be.
Certainly. It's about your resignation.
I figured. What part of I quit would you like me to explain?
First off, my condolences. I understand there was a girl, one of your targets, who was killed recently by a member of the faction we've been after for some time now. You were fond of her. You said in your report she retained an almost total recall of your experience in her subconscious.
She did.
Sounds like she would have made an excellent recruit.
Doesn't matter now, does it? Look, what's this all about? I told you.
Yes, of course. Enough pleasantries. I'll get to it. I have a series of questions I need to ask you, if you don't mind.
What does it matter?
Are you currently under the influence of any consciousness other than your own?
Absolutely not.
Have you been compromised in any way? Is this decision a result of coercion or distress?
Distress for sure, but not the kind you're talking about. The decision is mine and mine alone.
I see. And what are your immediate plans upon discharge from the service?
Discharge? I resigned. I quit. You don't have any control over my exit from this war of yours. I shouldn't even be talking to you. I knew this was a bad idea.
Apologies, poor choice of words. These are standard questions, you understand. What are your immediate plans now that you've resigned from the service?
My plans, immediate or otherwise, are no one's concern but my own.
Do you plan to change loyalties now that you've resigned?
Change loyalties? What kind of question is that? If I was, would I tell you?
People are concerned, Mr. Maru. You must realize.
It's just Maru, and I'm done here. Interview over.
What will you do with the box?
So that's what this is about.
How will you judge us?
Okay, this...
I have children, Mr. Maru, ages 7 and 4. Would you judge them, too? What could they have done?
I am not God, Mr. Daltrey. I didn't make the rules.
But you are his appointed judge. I fail to see the difference. Is there a higher court I might appeal to if I find your sentence not to my liking?
Yes, you're right. I see your point.
I have made mistakes, Mr. Maru. We all have. But in my heart, I know I am a good person. I am deserving of mercy, deserving of redemption.
Look, Daltrey...
I deserve to live, Mr. Maru. I am worthy of my life.
Assuage the truth, this killing field knife. Impenetrable veil of desire. Shallow dive in the deep end. Blood in the water. Daltrey, I don't have a good answer for you, but just know that I understand, and it's not your fault.
Thank you. Thank you for hearing me out. I know you are a just man. Please, I'm begging you.
Am I?
Are you what?
Am I a just man? I mean, that really gets to the point of this meeting. You wanted to know the reason of my resignation, and that's just it. I don't know anymore if I can say with any veracity that I am a just man. If I can't look myself in the mirror and say that I am, then what right do I have to pass judgment on anyone?
But the Lord chose you.
Maybe. Maybe you're right, Daltrey. But I don't feel special. I hope that answers your question. Pleasure speaking with you. Love and vengeance walk side by side. Two legs of the human condition, forgiveness and retribution, footsteps in the sand. I hear a voice calling out. The voices, always calling, always crying out. The only heed is my own. I dreamt the dream of the self, and when I woke I disappeared, faded vapor of the ego ghost, the facade of lies. Now I tread a lonely and desperate path, the only one I've ever known. An absent thought in darkness, illuminated now, shocked to wake in the light of knowledge, made whole in the sun. Someone bent the numbers, someone shaved the spread. The fix was in, redemption none. The game was forfeit before it ever begun. I am not the same without her, and yet I barely knew her. Or had I always known and simply forgotten? Two Michals, two sides of the same celestial body, the light and the darkness, anima purge. For the first time, I grasped the silhouette of another existence, the many faces on the moor, faded contour of collective identity. I am the lamb, the redeemer, executioner, unfaithful lover, lawgiver, hater, the unjust zealot with his eyes gouged out. I thread the hangman's noose and hang the hangman with his pride. Omnipotent hypocrite, Heraclitus bride, twin shadows on the dark ocean, keeper of the faith, holy man presiding over a congregation of lies. There is no truth. The concept is a lie. There is only struggle and confusion, confrontation and goodbyes. Michal, my Michal, African-American female, age 33, average but attractive, single, never married. The common suture, a Kama Sutra pose. Sometimes the signal goes dark, rain falling gently on the water. I am my own spotter now, vengeful specter, scales of justice in my right. I take the image of their lair from the subconscious of my former target, Johnny, Asian male, early 40s, identifying scar on his left cheek, shoulder-length hair with slight graying, twice divorced, 2 felony drug convictions with time served, an office in the back of an auto body shop, plans being made, conspiracy conceived. Johnny's machinations met a violent end at the word, my word, death mantra, existence revoked. At the time, he was working with my current target, Carl, white male, 45, medium build, goatee, weak chin, single, twice divorced, murderer of Michal. With the faint image of the garage's location fixed in my mind, I spend 3 days driving the forgotten streets of an industrial memory on the east side of Los Angeles, casing gas stations, warehouses, junkyards, and auto zones in search of a match. In the end, I find it tucked away in the high 100s, an exact match to Johnny's subconscious echo. I stake out the garage for 2 days, and on the second, he appears in the humid embrace of the pensive night, just as I had expected. A vehicle pulls up on the other side of the shop, just out of view. As it pulls away, Carl's figure steps out from the darkness to let himself into the garage. Safe house revealed, security no more, target in flesh, material culprit in the corporal mound, dead man walking. Hands of the midnight clock, tap, tap, tapping on the minutes, beating them into hours. The night passes over, angel of death reaping its newborn defrail. I watch him leave in the June gloom early the next morning before the first workers arrive at the shop. The negative shape of the gray Toyota Camry appears to ferret him off to whatever sinkhole he slithers into in the daylight hours. The day wheels by, and when the night creeps up again, the same Camry pulls up, driver out of view. A figure slides out of the passenger side door and steps quickly toward the garage. I make out Carl's guilty contour in the moonlight as the drop car races out of sight. Navigate this dark landscape, muckraker of the soul, positive position, mind blade rising. The runner in the boardroom, Christ charm emblazoned. Ring out the truth. Salvation is an exclusive club. Penance is for the willing. Germination of deceit, a crime with no purpose. Actions taken, no soul shuddered. Desecration of unity. Rally the cry. Rejoice, for the judgment of the Lord has come at last.
How much longer are we doing this? I don't like living this way. I did what you wanted me to do, just the way you said. Now you gotta keep your end of the deal. No more excuses, Michal. You promised me you'd get me out of the country if I did the job. Excuses, Michal. All I hear are excuses. No more excuses. Just get me out. Hello, Michal? Did I lose you? Fuck! She hung up on me again. Hello? Somebody there? I'm letting you know right now I got a gun. You don't want to mess with me. I'm in a real shitty mood.
A distinct sadness when the flowers bloom on the corpse. Upsurge of the murder instinct. When the animal tastes blood, you put the animal down. Retribution by divine right. Left alone in your madness, a flame on the sun, caring yet indistinct. A familiar tune out of context. Meet me on the death plane, take my hand, let me ride.
What are you doing here? How'd you find me? Wait. Is this real? Are we in my head right now? But I'm awake. Yeah, I'm awake!
Wide awake, Carl. Both of us, wide awake.
What are you gonna do with that wrench, man? Look, none of this was my idea. You know that. You want her. You want that bitch Michal. I'll tell you where she's at.
Auspicious forces bleed the cake dry. Intern of deception, caterwaul and cry. The beads and the daisy chains strike. We kill the flower to stop the rose. Pure contempt, the pull of the black hole. Seasons born in doubt, the meddling skies. Nothing begat nothing. The turning of the key released the bread and wine, a feast of desperation. Manila envelope on my desk, the final mission. The blue man agrees to act as spotter one last time. Target, Michal. My Michal. Ma Belle, the only target that matters.
Well then, Mara, judge of man and God alike, you have quite a choice to make.
A tender repose, the trumpets calling, the inevitable mark. Behind the beautiful window, the scarred shadows wait. The decaying corpse of time, memory and suggestion gauge the fantasy of life. Less meaning than contemplation, the dead dog lying at the side of the road. A punishing gambit, this thing we call life. Thoughts coalescing give rise to justification, a fornicating playground with no regret. I alone am the judge, the butcher uncontested, a universe of one. I am the first and the last, progenitor, prognosticator, full of reason and scorn. The dreamers are many, but the mind is a unified field. Vengeance, on the other, is penance to the self. I set a chair in the middle of the room, place my phone on the table nearby. Vantage point, the eye in the mind. More info, an address. I Google map the location, a pin in the mind's eye, GPS psyche. I step to the closet and remove the box. The text arrives, target in REM state. I sit comfortably in the seat, place the box in my lap, close my eyes, think the word, think the target. The word becomes the target. Bend the mind cap back, launch your retribution. Material plane, a prison for souls. Solitary confinement with a few hours in the yard. Spirits rattling the bars. Beyond the toning bell and the iron forge, quiet meadows, shallow pools, an impulse and God's understanding. A naked passivity, splendor in the dark. The vulnerable tool in the questionable aisle. This hand in resolution, loneliness of the judge's seat. I find her mind, take hold, infiltration scream. A new reality forms around me, an infinite plane, the ground like reflective glass. She is waiting for me there, ready to meet the judge's gaze.
Murderer.
Betrayer.
So you've come for me then? To judge me like you did Caleb and Carl?
There will be other lives for them to work out their issues.
I see. Same goes for me, I assume.
Perhaps. Not necessarily.
I
raise my hand and with a thought remove the words from her breath. I think what hurts the most is that you take me for a fool. Those words won't work on me, and I will not allow you to speak them in vain.
But I suppose you will. Go on then. Get it over with.
I didn't come to extinguish you. I came to talk.
So now you're working as defense for the accused?
Michal, you seek to judge what you do not understand.
I see. So it's that, Maru, is it? The soldier. Judge, jury, and executioner. Just looking to get the last word, as usual.
This isn't a lover's spat! We're talking about the fate of the universe!
What's the difference?
At this point, nothing apparently. I open my palm and the box appears.
You brought it?
Yes.
So you've made a decision. I'm actually impressed. Whatever it is.
I know. You know I'm not good with confrontation. I step across our reflections to face her. Her eyes look away from mine. Her mouth opens to speak, but she holds her words. Her eyes look back up to mine. An infinite palisade, quarter of the moon strikes. This is not forever, just the turning of the wheel. Two souls in everspace, awaiting judgment from a ghost. Abandonment issues, the mystery of nothing. This is the end of cat and mouse. I take her hand and place the box in her palm, gently place the other hand on top. She trembles at the soft vibration.
What is this? What are you doing?
You said that when God transferred his power to me, I became the wielder of all his power. I looked into it. You were right. The razors blossom. The key turns in kind. Windswept, the burning man's cloth. A traveler in the ocean's wake. Two blind men watching from the shore. There is no destiny, only fate. If God's power is mine, then mine is the power to transfer my judgment to another, just as he transferred his to me.
Maru.
It's yours now, to do with as you see fit.
Maru.
Choose wisely. A vulnerable crush. Seas flood in around us. Senses bleed in a universal rush. The fetal canal. A passage through darkness to a new world. Fruit grown on the vine. There is no infinity, only now. I watch her face fade away. One reality replaces another. Back in my lonely room, sitting in the pilot's seat, I listen to the silence and wait for an answer.
Mindraker. Background Anger, Episode 8. Starring Sean Schemmel. Featuring Whitton Frank, Vinnie Pena, Jerry Schultz, and Richard Kingston. With Tara Strand, Alex Emanuel, Ariel Hartman, Kit Quinn, Mervyn Cole, Alicia Castile, and Clark Crozer. Mindraker. Background Anger is a Spiralopus audio production, created, written, and produced by Roy Burdine. Co-produced by Sean Schemmel. Sound engineered and mixed by Mark Labib. Mindraker. Background Anger is copyright 2023 Roy Burdine. Mindraker will return.